funny.
This is Louise from the
Hi.
Press.
Hi. Watch your head. Nice to meet you.
I know, I'm quite good at usually dismantling
Maneuvering.
things when I'm walking.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bit clumsy.
You're tall too, so you stand up. Your head's going right for that.
That's
so
the
don't
excuse
do
I'm
it.
going to use, but it's generally just I'm just clumsy.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, when you sort of started out in acting, was there like, were you thinking, one day I want to play a truck? Is that something that's...
Completely. If I showed you my journals, I'd be able to find that. No.
I'm just kind of trying to imagine the conversation. Do they have to phrase it quite carefully when they say to you, we've got this great role for you?
Oh, not at all. Because when you start the conversation with, do you want to voice a character in a Disney movie? The answer is yes, right there. Like, you don't really have to talk about the movie. And then as soon as you say planes from above the world of cars, then you go, yes again, And then they go, you're not playing a plane. And you're like, oh. But I actually really like that I got to play this great mechanic because that character could have easily been a boy. And I think it's so wonderful that she's a girl, that she's a good friend to a boy, but it's not flirtatious. They're just good friends, and that she takes care of him, and that she's smart and capable and a realist, and but also caring and warm and loving and supportive. And it's a lot of things to wrap up in a character, and they all come across. And so it was really fun to play.
And she's kind of geeky too. She's got like a geeky
little
side.
Geeky. I'm a little geeky for sure. So that was typecasting in that sense. I may not know how to fix an engine, but I'm a little geeky.
So did you have to learn all these very technical...
I actually did. I was talking to the director, Clay, last night, and he reminded me that the first time we met, one of the first things I said to him is, so what is a whatever the thing was? Because as I wanted to really be able to understand what I was saying. And he was like, I don't know. And, and then that's when he knew, he was going to have to step up his game because I was going to be asking questions about this. Because it's just better if you feel informed, and why would I know that? Maybe I would, but most people probably don't. But I love the story. I love what Disney does so well. They take a human story, which one like this that, Dusty, this crop duster, dreams of being a racer, which seems far outside of what he's capable of doing. And I think all of us go through that. There's a time in our life where we dream of something and we wonder, do we have the background? Do we have the skill? Do we have, would it be scary to fail if we tried, And that's what the journey of this movie is. And I, as Dottie, get to support him reaching his dream.
Is that something, this whole kind of idea of getting out of your comfort zone, is that something you yourself do you like to put yourself in positions where you're out of your comfort zone? Do you strive to do that?
I don't like to do it, but I do it because I think it's important. Like if I'm the kind of, an example, if I've been on a boat off the, on the Great Barrier Reef or something, and I remember there was one time where we just stumbled upon 8 minke whales, which are quite big, and sort of circling our boat and very calmly, and one of the divers was like, you guys want to get in with them? And it's that moment where you go well, I don't really want to get in with 8 giant whales that I have no control over, but if I walk away from this situation, I will never forgive myself, and so I will, of course, throw myself into the water. So there's definitely those moments where I have the fear, and I'm almost always the person that faces it, because I don't ever want to walk away and go, man, I wish I'd done that.
Cool. And what about, when was the last time you ran any kind of race, or you were part of a race? And are you competitive?
Oh, I am competitive, but not really against other people. I'm competitive against myself. It's more about I want to do my best. I'm not so into I want to beat you. It's more like I want to do my best. That's the mind frame of me pushing myself. I don't think have I been in a race? I don't think I've been in a race in a really long time. But I do run.
I was trying to think, today I was thinking it's probably school the last time I ran.
I mean, even when I did a triathlon a couple of years ago, and even that, I guess technically that's a race against other people, but I was just trying to finish. You know what I mean? I really wasn't of the mindset that there were other people that were finishing before me. I just wanted to get to the finish line, and that was my win,
Which is kind of what happens in this film, really. It's
yes.
a bit more, it's not about being competitive, it's about everyone kind of putting together. And is there do you think there's an element when you do this kind of film that you think about the sort of historic thing about just being involved in a Disney project and the fact that, you know, people are going to watch it over and over again, and it's one of those films that they just don't really date, and you get that kind of...
Yeah, I mean, Disney films have played an important part in my childhood and my daughter's childhood with me, and you know, we've shared great moments in watching those stories and being entertained together. I love, maybe I might even get to be a toy. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, I hope that someday I get to watch planes with my grandchild.
And what do you think it is about, what is it about planes that are, like, children love planes? They just love planes.
Who doesn't love planes? I mean, planes are magical. Like, the fact that I could get here in a day from California, and I mean, we take it for granted until you, like, stop and think about how short of a time it was that you didn't used to be able to do that, and it's a magical thing what planes can bring into your life.
Have you got, like, because you must fly a lot, have you got, like, top tips of what you have to do on, like, a long haul flight? Have you got, like, essential items or anything like that?
Tons of water. I have a certain pillow, one of those, you know, as seen on TV, folds in 27 directions, you know, to stick under your neck. That's important to me. I'm always cold, so I have my little blanket. I usually bring, like, dried fruit or something because I don't like the airplane food. Yeah, that's pretty much, and a lot of water. Did I say that? Water. I think that's the key.
Sounds like that's an expert flying, like flying around. No, finally, I have to ask you something about Desperate Housewives, because it's been in the press again this week that you've said that you would be open to the idea. Now, if it did happen, what would you like to see happen to Susan?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't think it's going to happen. If it did happen, which is just such a gigantic hypothetical question, I do stand behind the idea that I, of course, would be open to it, because I think fans would still love to know the stories of the characters that lived on that street. That being said, I think especially since Mike died, specifically in regards to Susan, I'm not quite sure what her story would be. It would have to be an entirely new story that we never saw. I think everybody else sort of continued some through line that you saw manifest itself throughout the series, but I think Susan would sort of be a bit of a rebirth. So I don't know what it would be, but, you know, anyone who involved in that show has to feel like they won the lottery for getting to be in it, and, you know, that was enough. I don't need to do a movie, but if there was one, I of course would be open to doing it.
Cool, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm sure everyone must be asking.